Hi, it's the Silly Moustache, in his workshop as it were. First, absolute mandatory requirement, a good cup of tea. So, what I thought would be useful is to just show you some of the tools that I use when I'm changing strings and such like. I'm just going to go through those quickly at this point. First of all, strings can break, snap, do nasty things. Safety glasses. Pennies, but they could save an eye, and you only get two. You know, you can't get spares. If you're very, very old like me, sometimes things get a bit blurry when you're going in for the detail. They're a supermarket reading glasses, very useful. Most expensive tool that I have, but the most valuable, is an electric screwdriver. This is my particular choice because it rests on a charging cradle, which means it's always fully charged when I come to change strings. On the end, I've got a StewMac bit that it winds and unwinds the tuning machines, but there are plenty of others on the market. I'm sure they all work just as well. Of course, the advantage of having an electric screwdriver like this is you can actually drive screws with it and things like that. Okay, for many, many years I used another Planet Waves product like this, and it's got a very effective little side cutter and of course the usual sort of windy thing, and the like many even cheaper ones than this, you know, has a little notch in the bottom where you can prise the pins away. Trouble is, it has a lump of metal at the end, and if things go a bit awry, that could possibly dent the top of your table. So I've got a better product now. This is by Music Nomad, and it's an ingenious little thing. It's got a large slot here for the head of your bridge pin, and then a narrower slot so you pull in, and then you just lever it out with two fingers to that nub on the bridge, so no damage is going to happen to the top of your guitar. Very effective. I really like this product. When you're bending strings, when you're removing them, in fact, once you've unwound them, you know, there's a couple of recalcitrant winds or something like that. A small pair of pointy nose pliers, whatever they're called, and this is another little accessory that I've actually found quite useful. This is a dental probe, but it's very good when it's just catching that awkward little curve on the strings or something to bear in mind. And of course, if I'm not using that Planet Waves thing anymore, a good pair of side cutters really helps. Now, I do cut my strings. I pre-cut them, and that's because I don't use round core strings. I only use hex strings, and pretty much I only use Martin and D'Addario phosphor bronze now. Nickels on arch tops and resonators and stuff. And mandolin. So this is the instruction that I received some time ago from my tech. Before you put the string into the pinhole, you make that a bendy bend like that with the roller as if it were rolling up and down the string. Right? So I'm told that this will save your bridge plate from getting scored by lots and lots of different angles going through it. At the other end, when you've cut the string to the dimension you want to do the 2 or 3 winds around the capstan of the tuner, just make a 90-degree turn in it like that, right? So that will go through the hole in the capstan and be an immediate catch. Makes things a lot easier. And I've got an ordinary little pair of square end pliers for that. Now, when I'm using, when I'm changing strings on here, I change with my guitar on its back with the headstock over the end of the workbench, and I'm using an ancient again, another D'Addario Planet Waves thing, ancient thing. There are lots more things and probably better ones on the market, but this has served me well. So there we go. And so with the drill, blah 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 blah, right, it's going to work absolutely just fine. So that's about all I need to tell you for this. Have I missed out on anything else? Tuners? Well, yes. You want to tune. I used one of these for a long time, an IntelliTuner. I used to have one of these on the end of each guitar, but now I've gone over to the TC Electronics Unitune. I find a bit bulky, but I find them just simply the best on the market at the moment. Not cheap, of course. There is one more thing. Once you've put your strings on and you've tuned them up and you play them, they're not in tune anymore, are they? And that's because the strings need stretching. Stretching or settling. I believe that there is always a possibility between a difference in tension between the capstan and the nut and the saddle, of course, and the saddle and bridge pins come bridge plate. This is another little gadget that I have found. It is called a stretcher. A stretcher. If you come up with a new idea of a little tool like this, you've got to misspell it. So it just ends with an A rather than ER. But there we go. It's got a notch there and a notch there. And you just put that under your string and then over your string. Wind it up and down. Wind it up and down. And that's all you need. And then you'll do the final tune, you'll find that it's pretty damn good. So there we are. That's the basic tools that I use every time I change strings, and having quite a lot of guitars, I change strings quite a lot. If you have any questions or suggestions, please put them in the comments below this, because I'm always interested to hear what other people think, what other people do. And if you have any ideas for any other videos, then let me know about those as well. I'm going to do another one in a little while about checking relief and action and such like. So if you have been, thanks for watching. Bye.